Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Innawoods thread. I'll start. Be me and a friend, probably about 7 to 10, derping around in this swampy forest area outside my house. Hear rustling in the bushes. We look up, and this black figure walks out of the bush and looks over to us. We run as fast as we can into the house. It's a pretty crappy story, but it was still spooky.
I've lived in Alaska my whole life, and I've seen some shit that just shouldn't have been there. Stepdad has a cabin on 6 acres of backwoods up by the mountains. Sisters and I live in the cabin while the rest of my family lives in the house. One night, hear really loud grumbling and pacing all around the cabin at around 2 a.m. woke us up. First thought is, there's a goddamn bear outside, everyone shut up. I don't hear my dogs, have 5 of them, big mastiffs. Hear it move to the porch, and it starts growling and scratching at the old wood. We're talking really deep growling, not grunting. Shit scared of bears, it sounds really big. Hear howling off in the woods behind my house, kind of a sharp sound, followed by long droning sounds. Figure it's just wolves, but I haven't heard them being in this area, and so close to people. Being the oldest, I've always had to be the bravest, so I get up out of bed and move the curtain a fraction of an inch from the window to see the front door and the porch. Heart pounding, 'cause I can still hear the scratching and groaning. Fucking terrified that whatever it is going to see me. Sound stops as soon as I pull the curtain away. Nothing there, no scratches in the wood. Nothing on my porch. I pull the curtain back down and get back into bed. Sound starts up again, and we sit in the pitch-black cabin while this goes on all night. Scratching, splitting wood, growling. All night. Too scared to do anything, and this was before everyone had cell phones, so calling for my stepdad wasn't an option. I've always had this gut fear of being on that property. Everyone in my family has a story about that place. This one is my stepdad's, that he told me happened to him years ago, before he met my mother. He has always been into the paranormal, aliens, shamanism, etc. Be outside having a beer by the fire with a few friends. Start seeing strange lights in the sky down one of the back roads. This road was a dirt road that turned into a really long, overgrown, forgotten path. Grab old-ass VHS camera and head up the road with friends. Get closer to the lights, 2 or 3 of them moving in the sky. Aim camera at them and film for a long time while they move around in the sky. Lights vanish. Go home and watch the video. Nothing but static. A few times I've seen things looking into my windows at night, and one time something actually got into my closet and another under my bed. But those are more nope stories. Be out in the woods riding my horse through the path through the dense trees. Still to this very day, I don't know why there was even a path back there, or even where it led to, was always too scared to follow it completely. Come to a small fallen log across the trail. Horse stops dead, absolutely refuses to walk over it. Get off the horse and move the log. As soon as I throw it off into the woods, my horse bolts back to my house, leaving me about a half mile in the woods alone. Horses are assholes. Start the trek back home. Start to feel really uneasy, like I'm being watched. The forest is nice enough. There's moss making everything look like it belongs in a fairy tale movie. Start to panic. I don't want to look behind me or to the side, so I keep my vision firmly on the path, straight down. Start running through the woods, and at this point I have to look up. Ignore everything around me, just sprinting home. Get back up to a small cliff that's a shortcut back home and start climbing. Reach the top and turn around. Dark figures move behind the trees as soon as I look, like long, spindly things, some short, some tall, and it's the tall ones that scare me. I get back home to my mom, and she was scared because my stupid horse came back with no rider. I tell her everything that happened. She goes on to tell me that the man who owned the property had been a shaman. He kind of went insane and opened a portal in the back of the property. He also jumped off the roof of his house and broke his leg because he thought he could fly. I also realized that I wrote a few mistakes in my previous stories. Nothing but static. I meant to say that it was static every time he turned his camera to the sky. He was filming his friends just fine. Too scared to do anything. I guess I didn't really end that well. I just don't like to talk about this shit. We got up the next morning and went outside, and after all that noise of splitting wood and scratching, only one board was pulled up. It kind of makes me want to go back there and find out if there was something hidden under my porch or something.
I worked as a deputy in a rural Georgia county. I have been on a call in which some old lady lived alone in a cabin and called us because some big man was knocking on her doors and howling. I was the nearest squad car to the scene, and I was expecting a local drunk guy to have just wandered onto her property. I got out of the car and smelled a faint odor and walked to her door and knocked on the door and declared I was the sheriff's department and started to hear knocking from the woods. I unholstered my duty weapon, and she opened the door to let me in, and we talked, and she told me that she didn't want to press charges against the guy. I walked out and proceeded to walk toward the last sighting of where she saw this man. I unholstered my pistol and turned on my flashlight and declared myself and saw a huge man in the wood line. I asked him to put his hands up and come out slowly. I noticed that this man was taller than me, and I am 6'3", and it was about 8 feet tall. I proceeded to back away slowly, and it came closer, and I fired my weapon into it. It did nothing, LOL only 9mm. Fired again, saw some blood, and heard a blood-curdling roar from the creature. And next thing I know, I'm screaming. Need back up and firing my weapon toward the creature while listening to this blood-curdling scream. Then I felt a limb make contact with my face, and then it went black. I woke up to 2 deputies carrying me to a squad car and them screaming officer down. Needless to say, I told them I was at the wood line and someone snuck up on me and knocked me out. The old lady told a different story, but the official one is a guy snuck up, beat my ass, and left me there.
Go to a wooded area with some friends to hike and spend some time taking pictures. Pick-related, said area in my country. Almost winter and cold, so there's nobody outside. Stop to have a snack and some rest. Suddenly we all look at each other. Forest is dead silent, not a single sound. This goes on for like 30 seconds or so. Then birds tweet again. Sudden noises far in the distance. The sound trees make when they fall, like a long rustling or creaking. Can't be trees because chopping trees is forbidden in the area. Noise stops after some good 5 minutes, coming from the same spot all the time. We are all weirded out, but nobody says anything. Decide to keep walking. About an hour later, we stopped again to see the pictures we've taken. We're all pretty happy with them. We can hear that sound again, like falling trees. Not sure if it sounds closer than before. There are no big animals in the area, but we decide to go back because we're pretty tired. Half an hour later, it's getting dark pretty quickly since it's late autumn. We reach the lower part of a big hill. The track keeps going up and then goes down to where we left our car, so it's about 45 minutes away from where we are. One of my friends stops and she says, "Hold on." We all stop and look towards where she's looking. Can see a person in the distance, standing on a clearing in the forest we left behind about 20 minutes ago. He or she is wearing a bright yellow coat and jeans. Squint my eyes to figure out what he or she is doing. It's a man. He's waving at us. My friend waves at him. Another guy picks up his binoculars. Says he is pointing at something behind him and waving at us. We all decide to go and see if he needs help or something. Keep track of the man as we walk towards the clearing. As we come closer to the woods, it's difficult to see if he's there, but we can still see the bright yellow coat. When we enter the forest, we completely lose sight of him, but he should be about 200 meters from us. Reach the clearing. The man is nowhere to be seen. Walk around the area for a bit to see if we can find him. It's almost dark now. We're worried because if we keep looking for him, night would fall on us, but we don't know if he's injured or someone he's with is injured. After some searching, decide to go to the car and contact the police. We all turn our flashlights on and head back towards the hill. We're walking quickly, almost running at some points. The sound is back again, but comes from the trees we had just left. We don't even know if the sound and the man are related, but it's getting very creepy. Reach the top of the hill. It's completely dark now. All that's left is a 15-minute walk down the hill and we'll reach the car. We all freeze as we hear a new sound. It's something like a long scream. Later, I'd describe it to my friends as if a mentally retarded man would scream at the top of his lungs. Some of my friends say it sounded like a roar. Lasts for a good 5 to 7 seconds, stops and goes on again for about 3 seconds. Get the hell out of there and contact the police. They say they have no reports of missing people in the area, but they'll be aware. They try to calm us down, saying whoever he was, he's fine, and probably went back.
When I was in my early teens, my friends and I loved the thrill of the forest at night, so we often organized sleepovers at one of us who lives directly at the forest. At night we took some flashlights and sneaked out and went through the forest, and of course we encountered things that, to that time, seemed so supernatural. One night we didn't have to sneak out, since the parents of my friends were having a street party thing with other neighbors, and were very chill and maybe a bit tipsy already. So they did allow us to just take a walk. It is a small city with nearly no crime, so it's not too strange. So that night nothing strange happened, and we were already on our way back. Our flashlights penetrated the night up to a bike slow down, which was randomly placed on the nearing end of the forest. These metal things you have to push your bike through so you don't just drive so fast, or whatever. As we heard a loud and really scary scream, it came from in front of us, and was a bit behind the bike as we slowed down. We froze mid-walk. No one said a word. There was silence, and that was it. We faced each other and slowly started to talk lowly and decided it was just a cat fight or so. We were like 5 to 8 meters away from the bike slow down then. So after a few more seconds we laughed it off and walked on. After just a few steps the scream is there, again, louder and even stranger this time, and coming toward us. Of course we screamed and everyone ran. But first, we just ran stupidly and panicky. I nearly hit a tree. We did not stop until we were between houses and out of the woods. Nowadays I am sure we just scared something off and stuff, but back then we all agreed that we call it a harpy. It was just our label to the strange sound, since it came from in front of us, in our direction, but also kinda from up going down. Probably a bird of prey. Scarier now is that they found a dead boy there, after he was missing some time on a route we often used.
Not the clearest memory, but here goes. B10. Summer of '96. Huge heat wave where I lived. Couple friends and I decide to go chill at the river that runs behind our neighborhood. Let parents know. Peace out. River is banked by dense trees, kind of woodsy. Usually hang out in the thinner part, just so we can see houses from the riverbank. Less trees, so more sun. It's 105 degrees Fahrenheit outside. We go a mile up the bank where there are trees blocking the sun. Can't see the neighborhood anymore. Friends and I chill in the river all day. Shit was so cash. Sundown. We're supposed to be home by now. Friends and I take our sweet time gathering our towels and squirt guns and shit. Turn to leave. Friend said it'd be quicker to cut through the woods to someone's yard instead of going around like we came. Fuck it. Let's go. Woods are more dense than I remember. Cicadas still buzzing, owls hooting. What the fuck, spooky? Think we see the neighborhood, can make out a person in the distance. Begin moving a bit more quickly, all of us kind of spooked despite it only having been like 5 minutes. Get to where the person was. Nobody there. Neighborhood up the next hill. Was just a clearing. Weird-ass wooden nest-looking thing made out of long-ass branches. Has a diameter of about 6 feet. Nope.ave. Friends and I run past this thing and get up the hill and into some people's backyard. Dropped a towel or something, so I look back. See person standing in the clearing again. Forget the towel. I'm out. Run home. Slept with a blanket on an 80+ degree night. It was pretty creepy. Been back to the woods as an adult, whatever that thing was, it moved on to greener pastures.
Early this year, camping with some mates in a national park. By the 3rd day, one of the girls must go, so my cousin takes her to the entrance of the park. Something like 1 hour trail walking. Night is getting closer. The best mate of my cousin decides he will go and look for him. I see him, and since my girl is asleep, I grab my flashlight and go with him. I had broken my glasses a couple of days before, so I can only see with one eye. Start panicking because there are noises all around us, and especially behind all the time, and my sight was impaired. After half an hour, we decided to go back to the campsite, and that my cousin should have taken another path. When we get to the campsite, he is already there, drinking and joking. I refrain from punching his face and sit there too. "Anon, what happened to you?" "Why?" I ask. "Look at your back. Every bit of exposed flesh on the back of me is filled with scratches and cuts. Got my shoulders bleeding as well as the back of my legs. Drink myself to sleep and don't want to think what the hell was behind us."
Back when I was a preteen, out at my grandparents' house visiting. Their property has a lot of woods. Dirt trail goes in for maple tapping. Follow it out and go deeper into the woods, exploring and passing time while adults chit-chat. Find some lesser maintained trails. Remember that Grandpa sometimes cuts trees here and there for firewood. Follow them as best as I can. Mid-afternoon. Hear something, stop and listen. Anon, come on. Must be time to go home. Walk towards the sound, not really paying attention. Hear my name a couple more times, stumble over a broken fence. Realize I'm standing at the edge of the woods, a cornfield in front of me. What? Look around, realize I've been walking away from my grandparents' house, lost now, never been here. Look around, hear my name again, starting to feel uncomfortable. See a kind of thin spot in the woods a short distance away. Walk in that direction, reach the road. Uphill from my grandparents' house. Stay on the shoulder while I walk back. Don't hear anyone calling me anymore. Get back. No one is outside. Go in. Adults are all still chit-chatting. Ask about the cornfield. Oh yeah, that's neighbor's field, kind of far outside the property line. Try not to go out that way. Decide not to say anything about my name being called. I still sometimes go in the woods out there, but I don't head out there alone anymore.
I have a story kind of spooky, but not too spooky, I don't know. Be me, maybe 17 years old with a friend who is 16. Be in a park next to the woods. Around 11 p.m., warm, beautiful summer night. Playing frisbee, no one else is around. Sick tricks. Behind the back, hella dope. As I'm about to throw the frisbee, I see a little glint of light, so I pause and I shift my position. Around the edge of this short stone wall, there's a person crouched or sitting down. I can't tell. Call my friend over and we get a better view. Dude in a wheelchair with a camera around his neck. Fat, long white hair, big beard, probably 60+ years old. I say, "What's up?" in a really confused tone. Doesn't say anything. We kind of walk off but keep a view on him, but he wheels behind the wall completely. We follow and we just see 2 wheel tracks leading into the woods. Follow them to the little path, but it seems impossible to traverse in a wheelchair. Fuck off to our car and head home. Yeah, pretty creepy and weird.
Last summer I was out hunting for treasure, this time old bottles. I find old foundations of homes in the woods and poke around, dig a little, and I'm usually alone, far from people and established trails. Summer evening is coming on. Success in the day's mission to map a new area. Kind of creepy because an old rusted swing set is still standing in what must have been a lawn. Kicking leaves around as I'm heading out, looking for anything interesting. Third sweep of my foot reveals a small quartz crystal. Perfect shape, but cracked all to hell. Chuckle, thinking maybe the kids that used to live here forgot it one day long ago. Pocket the crystal and hear a voice bark, "Hey!" So startled I just freeze. Sounded like a young girl, and she sounded annoyed. Look all around. I'm on a rise in the land and can see for at least 100 yards in any direction. Nothing.
Did you give the girl her crystal back?
I don't even know what happened to it, to be honest. It wasn't in my pack or pockets when I got home. I remember looking. I have so many other crystals and rocks from other searches that I can't be sure that it didn't get mixed in or simply dropped. I still go to that spot and have a much larger area mapped now. Looks like I started at the house foundation, and then I found what could have been a barn and 2 other buildings. Weird place, half-rotted rowboat and a man-made pond, too.
Be me, 17 or so. Friend and I want to go shoot off my .22. Gun range is closed. Okay, so we'll drive a couple miles away from the city. I know this exit off the highway no one hardly takes, and there's a bunch of woods. Get there. Park under the overpass on a wide shoulder. I think semis rest there. Starting to get really dark. I don't know, probably too dark to shoot. Screw it. We came all the way here. Let's just blow a few rounds into a tree or something. Walk off the road into this kind of construction area. Nothing built. Just a bunch of trees and weeds cleared out with big tire tracks. Don't think there will be people here. It's too late to see anything. No signs of life. Hear people shouting. Turn around. People up on the road looking in our direction. They are lit by the streetlight. We are in total darkness wearing dark hoodies. No idea how they see us. Go further into the woods. Don't want to walk up there with a gun in hand to confront them. No way they can see us. Can hardly see my own hand. See 3 of the figures jump down from the road and come running towards us. Nope.jpg. Circle around and leave. People are gone. Best true story I have.
Not really the scariest thing, but still a bit unnerving to recall. Last year, decide I want to get back into outdoorsmanship after not being autistic since I was 15 or so. Teach girlfriend some basics and pack us up some bobs. Head out to a middle-of-nowhere trail in Appalachian, Ohio. Backpack for about half the day. Pleasant. No one on the trail with us, but such is predictable since we're in the middle of absolute nowhere. Break camp at around 1700 or so. chill until dark, popping popcorn and just relaxing together. Darkness falls. Go in the tent ready for sleep after a good long day outdoors. Get to sleep easy because I'm exhausted. Wake up at around 2:30 or 300 or so. Feel like something's about to peer into the tent via the roof vent. Chalk it up to paranoia, roll over, confirm gun is where I left it, and try to get to sleep. Insomnia time. About 15 to 30 minutes after I wake up, start hearing what sounds like someone chopping wood, or else beating a thick stick against a log. Wait, this is the middle of nowhere, as in no one should be here right now. Freaked out. Convince myself that it's acorns dropping so I can get back to sleep. Know in the back of my mind that it's too loud and distant for acorns. We left at dawn as planned and acted normal about it. A few months later, at the height of summer, we went out to the same spot and tried to go further in, but girlfriend had a heat-related injury and we left in order to stay safe. After we got home, and she got all recuperated and all, she confided in me that she's glad we left because last time she didn't sleep at all because she felt like the trees were watching her, or that something was out there. In lieu of my wood chopping, the whole thing just sort of spooks me a bit. Makes me wonder what was out there.
Be me, about a year ago. Be about a quarter mile behind my house, walking next to a creek on my way home. Suddenly I freeze out of fear. Most afraid I have ever been in my life. Can't see or hear. Completely numb. Only thought going through my head is, I don't want to die, over and over again. Begin to hear a thumping noise. Realize it was my own heartbeat. Start to hear a second thumping noise, getting faster and faster. Regain some of my senses and find out I'm running. I'm also in tears. I'm about halfway to my house. Finally calm down when I get to my porch. I have never felt a stronger fear in my life, and I have no clue as to what caused it, or any recollection as to what happened between when I froze and came back to.
Be me, around 12. My friend who recently moved out of town is visiting. Me, my visiting friend, and some kid on the block decide to go explore the woods near our houses. We live in a rural area of Florida, and it's slightly swampy. We ride our bikes to a type of entrance to the woods, muddy, get my shoes all gloopy. We wander in. Kid on the block is strong, and he starts shoving over very small rotten trees. At the time, I thought it was to mark the path, but it could have been for no reason. We stumble on tire tracks from some construction vehicle. We walk along it for a little while. Hear a deep growling noise. Oh shit.jpg. We all snap our attention toward the general direction it was coming from. We wait for a minute. Nothing. We think it could have been a boar, and we shrug it off. We walk along this endless track. We hear the noise again. Look ahead. We all hear an inhuman growling. We hear bushes rustling and twigs snapping. This two-legged humanoid thing bolts across the track around 20 feet in front of us. Nope.gif. We nope the hell out of there, running blindly into the woods. My goopy shoes cause me to trip. Oh shit.jpg. Climb to my feet like someone hopped up on meth. Continue running blindly, get lost. Shit. We aimlessly wander around for around an hour. It starts to get dark. We're noped and checking around us constantly for the thing. Forgot to mention the area we were around was close to the ocean. Strong kid on the block faintly hears the sound of the ocean. We all wander towards the ocean. Finally reach a road around dusk. Strong kid knows where we are, so we follow him. Eventually find our bikes and we hop on. I look around to make sure Bigfoot ain't around. Jack shit. We left, and never spoke of it again.
I don't have a proper Innawoods story of my own, and I'm currently feeling too lazy to make one up. But here's one from my dad. Be redneck teens living in Central Florida. Befriend a group of hippies from the nearby university. Read drug dealers. Dad and brother tell them stories of swamps and spooky Indian burial mounds. Well known in the area, stay away from and don't mess with Indian burial mounds. Hippies are intrigued, wish to see and fuck with Indian burial mounds. Dad and bro refuse, but after much cajoling, they agree to take these hippies to see the mounds. Head out in a swamp buggy, essentially a modified Volkswagen. Deep in the swamp, park the buggy and proceed on foot. The burial mounds are found and many laughs are had, likely peace pipes smoked. Darkness is coming, time to return to the buggy. Buggy is crushed, as if from some tremendous weight. The entire roof is caved in. No marks on the car. No footprints apart from their own, leading away from the car. No trace of any cause. Had to walk home after that mess.
Here's one from not long ago. Be me. Enjoy exploring, climbing trees, like to stay out and watch the sunset from the trees. One day be on a hike in some new woods. Don't see much other than trees. One cement wall still standing from who knows, covered in graffiti. Stop to read it. Wall says typical edgy stuff, people calling each other autistic, making threats, etc. Day goes on, climb up a tree, chill out, enjoy the sunset. Sun is totally gone by the time I climb down. Kinda lost. Whatever, forest isn't big and this makes it more fun. Walk straight for half an hour, getting worried now. Saw other people out there earlier, so try calling out. Hello? My own voice calls back, hello? What the fuck? A forest shouldn't echo. Keep walking. Find the wall again. At least I have an idea of where I am now. Suddenly I hear behind me, hello? That wasn't an echo. Hello? Someone is mimicking my tone, not in a friendly way. Can't see them. Staying quiet, trying not to move. A different voice screams at me from behind the wall. Have to instantly clench my sphincter to save my pants. Can't be sure what it said. Too scared to move now. All I can do is squeak out, hello? Before the voice violently screams again, delete this!
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.